So we're actually back in the UK now. Coming to the end of summer, and as you'd expect, as soon as we landed back in the UK, it started raining. And it has been raining now for like 3 days solid. But today I wanted to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, we just literally haven't had the time. Got a drink? Hello. Today's pretty exciting as well. I'm also expecting a package. So this camera I'm actually filming on is my brand new camera. Do you want tea or a coffee? Tea. Death. Yeah, I got this new camera yesterday. I'm actually waiting for something to turn up today for the camera. I know nothing about cameras, really. This is being sent back. This is my old, not made redundant yet, Sony RX100. I'm actually sending that back because I broke the lens on it and broke some other bits and pieces, so that's being repaired. This is my new camera, which, in fact, maybe I can use. Amanda, can I use your phone a sec? So this is the new shooter. This is a Sony A6300. I cannot wait to use it properly. It's amazing. To anyone's a geek about cameras, I've just bought this camera which has a standard kit lens on it, which is a 16 to 50mm lens. And I've just bought two of the lenses to go with it. I've bought an 18 to 105 lens, a 10 to 18mm lens for like that wide angle shot, I think. It should be turning up today. Oh, so I've not forgotten about your drink. Here's your tea. Oh, thank you very much. Do I need to sign for it? Alright, thank you. Case, microphone, batteries, one of the lenses. One of the new lenses I've got. This is the Sony 18 to 105 as recommended by Ben Cathro and Brody Hood. In fact, I'll put this in now and show you what it looks like. This is the standard 16mm view from the lens. Zoom all the way in to 50mm, how far she goes in. Same position, and we zoom in now with this. So that'll probably be great for getting shots, especially when it comes to riding. We'll get some really good videos of that. I've just realised I said I'd make a video today about questions and answers, and this has just suddenly turned into like a review of all my new toys and lenses.
Come. Kai, go, get here. Why have you made yourself very uncomfortable?
I've got some questions on my phone. T Slaith asks, what is your job whilst on the road? And I think we've already made a video to this, so I'll put a link somewhere here. I write stuff and you
organise stuff. Chief organiser.
And this is Chief
Puzzler.
Chief Puzzler. Alexander Bilacia, how do you pronounce that?
Bilaca?
Asks, how wide do you run your tyres?
I don't know, they're pretty big when I try and put it in the stand.
Amanda runs 2.5 Maxxis Minion on the front and a 2.4 Maxxis Minion on the rear. I run a 2.5 Maxxis High Roller 2 on the front and a Maxxis Minion DHF 2.4 on the back. Next question, what's your favourite bike brand?
Technicruise.
Anyway. The B-Rad asks, what races in the UK would you say a good test before trying the EWS?
I would say if you did a Tweed Love twice in the same week, that would be a good test.
So a Tweed Love series in Leaf, and any of those races are quite a good stepping stone towards doing an EWS. The like step down from that is probably like a PMBA race, which is more of like a regional enduro race. They sometimes have good tracks. To actually do an EWS and to like mimic, like to do something that is like riding EWS, I would probably say a Tweed Love is getting towards that stage where where a day's riding is about 40-50 kilometers long with 4 or 5 stages, maybe slightly less.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't actually joking about doing it twice, because Tweed Love, you do the 40k practice on one day and then race it the next day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whereas
See, yeah.
EWS, you do that for just practice.
Yeah,
and then
twice.
Then you'd race the 2 days, so it's 4 days rather than 2.
So you do 4 days of 40 kilometers. That's a good level indicator if you want to do an EWS. That's what you should set your sight on.
Definitely try doing a regional European race first.
Regional European race, yeah.
Because their stages can be up to 16 minutes long, which is the endurance you'd need to do a long stage in the EWS.
Fairyface0902 asks, have you been to Les Arc yet? And the answer is no, but I would love to go. I've heard some real good things about it. Les Arcs is like a place that's good for riding.
No, I thought it was good for something else.
Meg_MTV asks, Amanda, daily vlog, please.
I need a camera.
You've got a camera. iPhone is good enough. I read somewhere, if you want to get into making videos and stuff, camera equipment doesn't matter. You should use the best equipment you have at your disposal. So sometimes that is just my phone, your phone, this camera, a GoPro, whatever. Ribbon Robin asks, clips or flats?
Yeah, I think both of us now are fairly comfortable in both. I think being able to switch over, especially for different types of riding style, is a skill in itself, because I thought, oh yeah, I'm all happy riding clips, but I'm going to switch back to flats to practice my jumping. Couldn't keep my feet on the pedals, whereas now I feel pretty comfortable switching back and forth.
Yeah.
As long as I didn't get used to one or the other. I
used to ride flats a lot, switch to clips, and then now I've just gone back to flats in this past month, just because I think it's good to be able to ride both types of pedals. Overall, I prefer clips though. This Girl Travels asks, how long did you plan your trip in advance, and is it to be infinite?
We didn't plan the trip. We planned the actual, how we do it, so work the van. We always said from the start the actual trip, besides obviously having to plan our ferry passing, and we would just go with the flow, decide after each place where we wanted to go next. And obviously races, you know, you have to know which races you're going to so you can buy entry. But the best part of traveling is not having to follow a exact itinerary. I think the only time we'd have an exact itinerary is if we were going to
a race, or
I was going to say more dangerous country, because obviously if you're going to be at risk, you want people to know where you are.
We didn't really treat it as a trip as such. We just sort of like went with the flow and see what happens, and that's pretty much the whole idea of this channel and this just sharing what we're up to. It's not like we're going traveling for 3, 4, 5 months. It's just like a journey and seeing what happens, I guess. T-Stealth, what is your job whilst on the road? I think we've answered that. Copywriter, personal assistant. Sandro Silva MTB asks, I saw you also use flats. What do you think about them for enduro rides in terms of pedaling? I went back to flats from clips just to have a bit more fun and playful on them. In that respect, they're really good. Just being able to take your feet off and have fun is a benefit of them. But obviously, when you're going over rough stuff and you're trying to pedal, I can definitely feel difference in terms of flats and clips. Clips are a lot more consistent. I feel I can carry more speed in them. Jade Mondo asks, what do you and Amanda do to sustain the way of life you have chosen out there, job-wise? Already answered that. Charlie Harper asks, why did you pick the Nomads with an S on it? So I think she means the Nomad, but they're exactly the same bike, but just one's Juliana, one's Santa Cruz. Why did we pick those over the other models? We had a choice between a couple of different bikes when we decided to work with Santa Cruz. I had a choice with either the Santa Cruz Nomad or the Santa Cruz Hightower LT, which is a bigger wheel bike but less travel. And then you had the choice between a Strega and a Rubion.
Personal preference, but I'm really glad I went with the Strega because it's enabled me to do enduros and bike park stuff and not feel like I wished I had a bigger bike or a smaller bike. It just feels like it fits everything.
Next year I wouldn't mind trying a bigger wheel bike, so instead of having a 27.5 wheel bike, try a 29er and see how different that is. I think that's the way mountain biking's going. Pajlik asks, you will sometimes come Czech Republic for bike park. Can live in my house. It's a very nice offer. Maybe one day we'll go there.
I was about to say, I get questions about Kai a lot on the road.
Ironic because he's just walked off.
He's like, oh, it's my part, I don't want to get embarrassed.
Jameson_Mac says, how did you go about getting hooked up with sponsors to help fund the trip? That's like getting sponsored, getting hooked up and working with brands is probably a whole, we should just do a whole video of that on itself, because that is like a rabbit hole of questions and answers going down.
I would say something for that. To get sponsors, you have to put yourself out there, ask for them. You don't just...
They don't come to you.
Even if you were the most awesome bike rider in the entire world, if you're not putting content out there for anyone to see it and you're not telling anybody, or you're just hoping somebody will see it off chance, then you'd be very lucky if someone was to come to you. However, if you're putting stuff in front of people, then you've got a bigger chance of people seeing you, and then if you ask, that increases your chances.
We'll do a whole video on that because that is like a specific video in itself. Ironic that Kai just walked off, but we always get questions about how we look after Kai on the road and that sort of stuff. Whether that's like how do you look after him on the road? How do you keep him up to speed? Is that the right word? Or like how do you keep him healthy?
Well, I'd say a lot of it's preparation before you go away.
We didn't do much though, did we really? Like
I did a lot.
Alright, my man did a lot. I didn't do anything.
I consolidated all of his medical records, just as backup. I got a year's worth of flea and worm treatment sorted out for him, so I wouldn't have to worry about which one to get or just dealing with it in a different country. So he was basically all set up. Obviously his passport and vaccinations had to be done. You've got to do that to travel with the dog anyway. Medical supplies, just for minor stuff, like so like tick removers, little antibacterial washes for if he cuts himself.
Bandages?
Yeah, I brought bandages, but I'd honestly recommend most people, if you weren't veterinary trained, to take them to a vet. Obviously, I'd feel comfortable with a smaller graze bandaging my own dog's foot, but bad things can happen. I definitely recommend looking into vets abroad as well. I even made sure I knew where the vets were in our base, which was in Morzine, just so I would know where to take him, just in case, because I have, you know, minimal training with that stuff, but I'd still want to get a vet to look over things. And obviously, if you hadn't worked in the veterinary field at all, you definitely want to be told what to do. Hot days, you can't leave a dog alone in a camper van.
That's my question we get asked a lot.
You'd want to look for, like, there's always pet sitters in an area.
There was a good group in Morzine actually. If you're ever in Morzine and you're looking for a dog sitter, Morzine Mountain Dogs, and you could basically find pet sitters on there or people who wanted to look after dogs. So, and anyone asking, I don't know if it's whenever we were away riding, say if we went riding in Morzine for 2 to 3 hours or something, and Kai, we didn't think it was suitable for Kai to come with us, we'd leave him in the motorhome with the vents open, with the window open. The motorhome itself keeps the temperature at whatever temperature you leave it at, so if it's quite cool inside and you have the shades on the windows and the blinds are up but there's still air ventilation coming in, it actually stays quite cool in there. Obviously we'd always go back every 2 hours to check him, so it wasn't like we were leaving him for like
and to be honest, we didn't really ride together because of that reason.
No, yeah, we didn't really ride together anyway for that reason. Like I would, like usually my days were like working in the morning, Amanda would go riding, and then we'd almost like switch, so I would ride in the afternoon and she would be at home. So the dog always like had someone with him. Kai always came to the, well, a lot of the times came with us to the cafes and stuff. A lot of the time he was really, wasn't he? We met friends out here, Laura Beth was one of them, and a few other people who wanted to look after Kai. I think actually when we first got the motorhome, I was worried about Kai, worried about him getting used to the motorhome, but he was like from day one perfectly fine with it. Now he knows that's his home. Like even when we were travelling back from France to the UK, I think it became obvious how used to he is to that motorhome, because he was asleep for like literally 10-12 hours of driving, like flat out asleep in the back of the motorhome. And usually like when he sees the mountains and stuff, he gets so excited and he's like looking out the window and stuff, but like now he just knows when we sit in the driver's seat and the passenger seat, he gets in his seat and he just literally sits there, waits for you to put his harness on or his seatbelt, and then just lies down.
For 6 months we didn't really have many problems with actual problems that arose because of having a massive dog and travelling, besides literally Kai being vocal.
We stayed in one place in Austria to do some filming in Schladming. We left Kai in an Airbnb and I got a text 4 hours like in the middle of the day from the Airbnb host saying, can you come back, your dog's been barking for 4 hours.
So we've decided not to go back out to the last 2 EWSs.
Yeah, so originally we were going to come back to the UK for 2 to 3 weeks and then drive back out to Spain and then on to Italy for the last 2 Enduro World Series races, which we've decided is probably the best idea to cancel those races completely. For one reason, because we came back early to start with to the UK to rest and recover. I think both of us were like, for literally the past month before we came back, we were both getting on the stage of being burnt out, so tired. So we came back as like a way of strategically recovering. And I think it'll probably take me personally 2 or 3 weeks to recover from that. To go straight back out to do 2 races back to back, just to me sounds pretty overwhelming, and it's just going to put me in that same place of burnout and tiredness. And I bet you'll probably feel the same.
I'm still knackered. However, we have, if you were to do a full series, better planning. I mean, obviously we didn't plan to do the full series. I definitely think to do a full series you need to have
accommodation.
Yeah, like it just planned a bit better, so you can like maybe take a rest in an Airbnb for 2 weeks. Having a hot shower sometimes when you're like absolutely knackered and feeling horrendous
huge
after
difference.
riding 4 days.
So we decided to stay back here in the UK, get some quality rest and recovery in, get focused and start planning for 2019 and the rest of this year. So I think we've had some cool ideas in the pipeline for the rest of this year. One of the plans is maybe to go up to the west coast of Scotland, do like a cool trip up there. Red Bull Hardline. Amanda's doing the Red Bull Fox Hunt, which is like a cool race for girls. And we're also doing a little PMBA race in Kirritree.
Just more working and chilling and seeing friends, and we have to get the bikes ready to go back out.
Yeah. Go and say bye to the camera. He hasn't figured out how to sit on a sofa properly yet.
Come here.
The most awkward dog ever.